Hi there everyone, back with another video. In this video we will be learning the next concept in JavaScript, that is again the fourth type of branching statement, that is what we call it as a switch. So now again, what do you mean by a switch statement? I'll just say as a statement. So now again, what is it, a switch statement? So switch is what we call it as a multiple branching statement. So again, it's a multiple branching statement, just like if, else, if. So in the previous lecture, we have studied about if, else, if, and else, right? So we have got all the multiple branching statement like these, right? So we have three scenarios, right? So we will be printing either hi or bye or last bye over in the screen, and we have got a bye in the screen, right? So as an output. So now my question is, what if we have a 10 conditions like these? So will you write just like else if and do this thing over here, and again you will have again else, and you will be having, can you have this kind of else if and else if and else if and so on and on? It's not the case, guys. This else if statement will be working for just up to max 2 to 3 conditions. But if you in case have 10 or 15 conditions to be checked and to be branched out, you can't use else if statements. So in those scenarios we need to use a switch statement. So I'll just quickly erase this off, and let me say I'll just declare a variable. Let me say let with the variable like sw, which is a switch variable, and I will just say 10, right? So now in the switch I need to use, again guys, I need to use a switch, a keyword with all the small case, just like this, and then with the brackets over here, then we need to pass the parameter for the switch as a variable which contains a value in it. So we can also pass a raw data in here directly, or else we can also pass a variable in here. So in order to explain you guys about the switch, we need to use a cases for the conditions where we need to have some kind of branching code that should be executed. So I'll just say case 1, which means if this variable sw contains 1, then we need to address some kind of logic to be executed. So in simple forms, I'll just use again a console over here, and then I'll just say in the console I'll just say this is 1. That's it. And at the last, again guys, we need to use a break statement in order to break the condition. So this is the condition for the 1. If the value of sw is 1, then we are executing all of this and ending up with all of the execution with a break statement. And after the break statement, we can also have another cases like this. So I'll just say case 2, and then I will be using same thing like this is yeah, this is 2. So which means the value of the variable will be 2, and then again we need to break the statement in order to uh, break the cases of this. So similarly we can have multiple values just like this. I'll just copy this off and paste it over here, and then I'll just change the values like 3 and 4, and also I'll just change the values over here and 3 and 4. So now guys, what we are doing here is we are just checking the value of this variable sw. If it is 1, then we are executing this. If it is 2 and this and 3, which is this, and 4 and this. So, and we can also have multiple cases for that. So now what will be the output of this? Let me check it out. It's nothing, right? The reason is because I have a variable sw with value 10, and we don't have any case with a 10, right? So if I just change it to 1, then the output will be this, right? So this is 1, so which will be getting in the output. Yes guys, this is all about the simple switch statement which we usually have in all the programming languages. And the thing next the thing is we can have multiple cases. So if I just if I just comment this break statement, what it indicates now, if the case is 1, then we are executing this as well as this. So if the case is also 2, then we are also executing this and this. So now if I just run the program again, as you can see, this is 1 and this is 2. The reason is because I haven't break the condition for a case 1. So since there is no break in here, we are executing 1 as well as 2 both together at once, and we got the output as this, right? So this is the thing which you need to keep in mind. So you need to use a break statement in order to break the condition of a particular statement. So now since we have usually initially we have 10, right? So if we have 10, then we'll get no output. So now what we need to do here is, if none of the cases above is matched, then we need to write default. So what do you mean by again default? So I'll just have a console over here, like this is default, right? So now yeah, default, and that's it. I'm sorry for that. And yeah, so now none of the cases is matched, then the default will be executed. That's it. So if I just refresh the browser and you got it this right, so this is default. That's it. So since I have 10 over here, then there is no matching case for 10. Then the default at the last will be having a default block that will be executed at the end of this thing. Yes guys, this is all about the simple switch we usually have in all the programming languages. And note again guys, note it down, there is no hard and core rule that we need to use a numerical value for a switch. We can also have a string. So if we use a string, then we need to make it as a string case for all of them, right? So I'll just make it out as a string and let's do it, right? So for the, yeah, it's, let's do it and save this, and again we'll get the same thing, right? So if I just change it to 1, then I need to get this right. So if I refresh this and we got this right. So again, there is no hard and core rule to use numerical values or string, but we usually use numericals and string for all the switch cases. So it seems to be a kind of odd if we use a string rather than a numerical, right? So it is a best recommendation to use a numerical values in switch statement. That's it guys, this is all about the simple switch, which is again a multiple branching statement. Don't remember, I mean, yeah, don't forget that, but remember this guys. I'm sorry for that. And yeah, so remember that this is a multiple branching statement in JavaScript. And this is all about it, and see you in the next video.